So I want everybody in the audience to look to your left and look to your right. Now, out of the three of you, one of you is likely to, at some point in your college career, have trouble functioning because you're so depressed.
So depression is a major issue for college students, especially first-year students. So this issue is important to us because many of us have been close to someone in our here in college or in our family with depression, and we know how detrimental it can be, especially like when you're here in college and you leave your families and friends.
Think about what you know about depression. Now recognize that first years lose close contact with most of their friends and family. And for a lot of people, the support system is the biggest thing preventing depression and promoting mental health, which is why it's especially important for us to concentrate on first-year students.
Depression among first-year college students is extremely prevalent and caused by several interwoven factors that we will discuss.
So the first thing we want to make sure that you're all aware of is that depression in first-year students is a problem in our country, and not a small one. So coming off of that, of course, many first-year college students struggle with depression. And as previously stated, which was found by Novotny in her article, Students Under Pressure, that 1 out of every 3 college students at some point reported having trouble functioning due to depression. Based on a study done on a group of university students by Bayram and Bilgel in social psychiatry and psychiatric epidemiology, first-year students were the ones out of all university students with the highest rates of depression.
Okay, so such an alarming problem that a bill was introduced by the Senate. It was called the Mental Health on Campus Improvement Act, and basically it was trying to get more money of the university budget to go towards mental health resources. Okay, so mental illness and depression have a stigma with college students. Stigma associated with mental illness has been identified as a key factor that may impede mental health service use. The stigma reduction is a central objective of national health policies.
A study by Eisenberg and others, which was published as Stigma and Help Seeking for Mental Health Among College Students, showed that those who were embarrassed to be associated with a mental health disorder would be much less likely to look for help, which makes sense, right? If you don't want to admit that something is happening with you, then you, of course, wouldn't seek help because that would be admitting that it's happening. Also found by Eisenberg was that people who perceived a need for help still didn't seek help because of what others would think. So it's not just a problem of not wanting to admit to yourself, but it's also a problem of not wanting to be perceived as someone who might be weak or needs help. And in one study done, many students cared much more about what others thought about them than what they themselves thought about them. So they were worried about others' perceptions of their mental health as opposed to their own actual mental health, which is, of course, a major problem and really just makes the whole situation worse.
Okay, so another reason that the problem is really bad is because there's a lack of resources. As the institutions keep growing, not a lot of money is going towards the mental health resources, so this is really bad. And then a study was done by the AUCCCB, which showed that 30% of the counseling centers in colleges have a waiting list at some point, showing that there's not enough resources for the students. And then also, out of all the students that go to university and that are identified with depression, only about half of them get the adequate care that they need. So obviously, depression in first-year university students is a major issue, but why is this group so susceptible to depression?
So there are common contributing factors that make depression more common in first-year students. The first would be that they are living away from their families for the first time. So their support system is no longer here with them constantly. They're missing their moms, their dads, aunts, uncles, parents, guardians, anybody. Everybody's not here with them. So it's really hard to adjust not having constant feedback about your actions. And if families don't keep proper contacts with their children, the students have less ability to cope with the change here.
So as many of you know, college also comes with a really big increase in stress. So it was found that high stress decreases the ability of others, especially family members, to help lessen the symptoms of depression. And so students that face stressful elements such as like more freedom, more work, higher expectations, and a need to find a career goal. And I'm sure all of you as freshmen in college, you can all kind of like relate to these kind of stressors. And so dysfunctional thoughts concerning success, which engender a sense of pressure to perform and detrimental to students' mental health, was found by Latte in his peer-edited journal. So there's typically an increase in alcohol consumption in first-year students. A lot of students, they come in from high school, and a lot of them have never drank before, and they go to college parties and they don't know how to handle alcohol. There's a lot of binge drinking involved. And so not only is alcohol a depressant and leads to more depressing feelings, but drinking often leads to poor decisions which have bad consequences. And so the consequences can affect the emotional status of the student.
Now that we know this,
So students that are depressed often self-medicate with the use of alcohol, and so while this may help initially, and they think that it's helping, in the end it just makes things a lot worse for their depression and their symptoms.
so now that we've examined the problem to a high degree, let's start to explore the goals we have for this problem. Now, obviously, we can't eliminate depression to a complete degree because it's a really complicated problem involving a lot of psychological aspects and a lot of environmental aspects. But realistically, we can expect students and colleges as a whole to be significantly more productive and to also experience a significant drop in suicides because depression has been shown to be highly correlated to both. To start off, there are several workplace studies that have displayed that depression involves a very sharp decrease in productivity, which was shown by Ari Beck in the article of American Academy of Family Physicians in July 2007. In addition, depression has also been shown to increase workplace absenteeism, which in simple words meaning that employees miss more days of work. This was shown by Jean-Pierre Lepine in 2011 in the Dove Medical Press publication. Finally, it causes depressed employees to work worse than their non-depressed counterparts. And that was shown by Deborah Leonard in April 2008 in the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine.
Okay, so also depression is also significantly correlated with suicide, like you said. And therefore, if the overall occurrence of depression is significantly lowered, then we can expect suicide rates to be substantially lower as well. And depression has been correlated to a variety of self-destructive behaviors, and like he also said, it causes low productivity, and especially in first-year college students, you want to do your best, and it's difficult, all these factors. And depression is a factor associated with significant higher likelihood of suicide, shown in Gallus, the article. And to conclude our speech, first-year college students endure major changes emotionally and need more help with their transition. There's a major problem seen in college students, specifically students in their first year who have suffered from depression that sometimes can lead to suicide, along with overall effects of mental illness. The stigma of mental illness is a detriment to the healing process, and students choose not to seek help because of that. Lastly, when students do decide to seek help, many institutions lack the resources to effectively help the student.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.